Hello, everybody. Welcome to your weekly love reading. As I said in my story today, I will be moving the love reading to Tuesday or Thursday because I am going to start working Wednesdays of my own choosing. I'm the schedule maker in some respects, but I like to accommodate the other staff. So, we're getting close to our busy season here. So anyway, next week I'll be working Wednesdays. So deciding whether to do love reading Tuesdays or Thursdays, we will see. Probably Tuesday, I'm thinking. But anyway, let's start with the bottom of the decks here. So we have the Chariot, which is like motion. There's motion, feeling like things are moving, but ever so slowly, right? Like at a snail's pace, bitches turning into a snail. She's like, I'm moving so fucking slow. I am a snail. I'm like, I've become a snail, bitch. Like, my hair has calcified into the shape of a snail. So anyway, but she's moving slow and steady. And the Divine Feminine, of course, came out. And I was reminded that my kitty ruined or damaged this card. She was chewing on it one night, quite a while ago, actually. A few months ago, but I forgot about it. So the Divine Feminine has been damaged. She's received some damage, but she's still looking good. I mean, when I saw that card on the bottom of the deck, it still popped hard. She's beaming, even with her scars. And I wasn't even going to show the bottom of the decks until I saw the Divine Feminine on the bottom of the deck. And then I was like, wow, I have to show that. And then when I saw this one, I was like, well, this really is a message too. True manifesting is about receiving what is of the highest good for all, which is a very challenging lesson there, because a lot of us, when we're manifesting, we don't always think of that, and that is why, because sometimes the things we want aren't what's best for everybody. And that's why sometimes the universe doesn't deliver what we want. And I'm hearing you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. And that's why we had Donald Trump as president for 4 years. No, I'm just kidding. But that's true, though. Sometimes you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And you may not understand why that is, but it's part of it is because it's part of the highest good for all. So selflessness, we were being taught selflessness. And strength, of course, was on the bottom of this one. So, with the little babies, they're little kitty tiger, little baby kitties. They're like, what I mean to say is they're like baby tigers or lions, because usually strength cards have just like a lion or a tiger, not usually babies, so that's kind of cute. Anyway, and it was my baby that damaged this Divine Feminine card here. So let's get these out of the way and let's just keep it moving. And remember that, though, manifesting is about receiving what is the highest good for all. So if you're experiencing something that's like just not working out the way you might like right now, understand that, like, ask yourself, is this because perhaps something that is for the highest good for all is trying to manifest? These are the decks we're using today. Mystical Moments, Super Attractor, Messages of Light. You see, I've had this deck a long time. The front is wearing off. It's like getting messed up. And the spell casting oracle cards. So feminine energy, what do you need to know, my dear, this week ahead? The Ace of Swords, bitch, and look, it's the same shit. I was joking about, but this is more of like a shell. But stop, because I said her hair turned into the fucking, oh my god, and look what was underneath the tower. She's holding the tower, though. She loves that tower. That's, I dare say it's almost phallic, but like she's holding the tower. Her hair is a part of the flames there. Her hair is always involved. What's my cat doing? What are you doing? Okay. That's really interesting, the tower there. Okay, anyway, her hair is a part of the story. That's all I know. Okay. The Ace of Swords, though, but this is more like a shell to me, which, I mean, the snail is a shell-like too, but this reminds me of the reading yesterday where she's in control of her intuition and the sounds of the universe is like a part of her. She's at one with her intuition. This image here, she's very high priestess like. And if you watch my story today, I said it was the high priestess and the Hierophant, or I'm sorry, I think it was the high priestess and the high priest, it said in that deck. And I said, she's got the book and he's got the key. And now she's got the key, and it's the Ace of Swords, a totally different card, which is crazy. And she's very high priestess-like, though, I would say. She's very high priestess-like. She's stoic. She just reminds me of a high priestess image. And the Ace of Swords can also, you know, represent that type of keen, incisive, like understanding, like really understanding, piercing through the veil, a sense of clarity and understanding. Sorry, I get confused. I'm not confused, but distracted. As related to her intuition, though, you know, I kind of lost my message there a little bit, but as related to her intuition, it's because it's a mental clarity, you know, it's a blending. So I like lost my train of thought a little bit because it's a blending of mental clarity and intuition. Like she has the key, right, which is the high priest, but she looks like the high priestess. So she's like, she got the key from the high priest. She's like, bitch, I got your key. She's like, I got your key. What you talking about? Like, I got the key and the book. Now I got the key too. I got it. But she's mastering. Look at this crazy cat. Trying to see that? Did you see that? She's mastering her intuition. Her gift. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I get all giggly. Like, shut up. Okay. I slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to me. Yes, honey. It's a crowning moment too there, right? But this is what the Divine Feminine has learned is how to listen to the guidance that's available to her. And she's listening. And now that she's tuned in, it's like, oh my God, wow. There really is guidance. But I slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to me. Sorry, I'm going to try to tone down my energy. Here, let me take a sip of coffee as if that would help. Maybe I should hit my pen. That's what Tyler's tarot says. He's like, that's a coffee talking. Don't listen to me. It's just the coffee talking. I slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to me. That's what she's doing, though. She's slowing down. And I think that maybe this upcoming year for the feminine. So first of all, I feel this energy abound for me, a slowdown and a peace with it. And so I think it's coming up of the feminine in the coming year, where this is just, it's going to be sort of a good vibe for you. But also maybe just like it's guidance, it's telling you if you are struggling, you know, to slow down so that you can listen to the guidance that's available to you. Because when you do slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to you, you feel very tapped in, like you feel like you get it, like you have the key. So if you can kind of slow down and listen, you're going to realize you have a lot of answers, a lot of information, because you've been through quite a bit here. Like you've been through a lot. And there comes reward with that. There is a reward, you know, with waiting, with practicing, with listening. But sometimes we just get ahead of ourselves and we get anxious and we're in our ego and we're moving too fast. So listen, slow down and listen. And I think too, in the coming year, there's going to be less, like part of this being the key too, is like feminine energies out there really integrating this energy of patience and like being in control, where if she's in control of her intuition and such, like she's not as impatient. She's much more patient. She's much more grounded. She's in control of her emotions and okay with like the slow and steady, right? It's like, is that how you turn the table? Is like what once frustrated you, you become at one with, at peace with, and you listen. Maybe because that's what the saying is, you're accepting the fact that things are the way they are, right? We accept the limitations, the walls that are presented before us. We accept them because we understand that perhaps this is why this is happening. True manifesting is about receiving what is the highest good for all, everyone involved, you know? And so there's a slowdown where it's like, let's take a look at things. Let's take a step back and see and really listen to what is coming in, because this is an important chapter, I feel like, or an important transitional time, and decisions made will affect your life for the long term. Wellness. taking care of yourself, taking care of herself, the feminine here, getting back to her wellness, putting herself first, slowing down, listening, being in control, being in the driver's seat more. Sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, is like my mom too, is like, you just go, go, go. A lot of people do that, and a lot of women, and you're so busy, and you just go, 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 and everything else comes first. And everyone else needs you. So that's sort of the problem, is I realize, like, for me, as I'm coming more into my womanhood, that I try to do everything for everybody, but then they need me, and then so like, they need my inner light too. So I have to tell them sometimes no, so that I can really give them what I meant to give them. So it's protecting the wellness of the feminine, protecting her intuition. And she has to slow down, because there's protection here. Slow down and protect herself. Wellness is really important then, I feel like, for the feminine in the upcoming year. And what I'm feeling for myself as I'm saying this is that sort of fast-paced, anxious type energy where you're like trying to get to the next thing, and you're frustrated and you're upset about what you're not getting, and you're all this stuff. You start to block out the guidance, and you're not in a state of wellness. So really take care of yourself, because things are coming into your life, I feel like, that you're going to want to be healthy for, or well for, like you want to, if you have like blessings coming into your life in the coming years, if you will, blessings meaning like the life you've been envisioning, it may not be everything you want, but it's a life that's a reflective of you more than what you've created before. You want to be peaceful. You want to be slow. You want to be listening as you watch this beautiful life unfold before you, as things come to you, as new people come in your life, as new things come in your life. You have the key now. You want to take care of yourself. You want to feel good. You want to be happy as it comes to you. And so if we're in this anxious energy, like waiting and wanting to manifest and frustrated and, oh, is this it? Is that it? That's not the energy you want to be in to receive your future, And what I was saying too, part of my message yesterday, I was talking about loss, and that it's a really layered message as I get those channels. So it can apply to so many different things, and it does, But lately I've been feeling like, ever since I got my laundry stolen, for example, I've lost a lot of things in my life. My mother, my nuclear family, homes, the business I had with my family, that was a long chapter that just ended. So a lot of things, pets, we all have, but that's for me. But lately I've been like losing things. I have this fear of lack and like issues with money and stuff that I'm working through in my heart space and stuff. And I've been losing things, like just like stupid things, like an earring, or like my pen, or like my laundry getting stolen. And I realized I have this fear of loss, as I shared in the reading last week, fear of loss. So as I've been experiencing this weird thing, and the universe like tricks me, and I'll like lose something in like 10 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, how could that be gone? I just, and what I realize is it's my fear of loss. And what I was hearing today is that the feminine, like what you have found, what I have found recently within myself, you can't lose it. So don't worry. Don't be afraid of losing it. You can't lose what you found, but you just have to take care of yourself, and you have to listen. And what was taken from you, what was lost before, you will not lose it again. And see, she has the key now. She remembers. So don't be afraid of losing things, and don't let the universe fuck with you. That like, oh, you're going to lose it. Oh, did you lose this? Did you lose that? Oh, you lost it. And so that's why it's like, anytime the universe is going to fuck with you about some shit, be like, all right, fine. Guess what? I love losing things. You know what? I am just going to find the beauty and grace in loss. If that is what you were trying to tell me, if that is what I meant to do, is find peace in loss, then I shall do that. I shall find peace and wellness in whatever you are presenting me with at this time, because I trust that what I'm being presented with is in some way a reflection of what I'm trying to overcome. It's in some way trying to help me get to where I want to go. And I know that because I trust the universe, and I trust my path, and I trust my inner light. So that is it. Fear of loss. You can't lose it. You have nothing to lose. Oh my gosh, commitment. There's a commitment coming into this divine feminine's life. A commitment that she's been wanting or seeking. But the thing is, you have to make the commitment to yourself first. And I think she had to find what she lost. She had to find what she lost, the key. She found the key, and it was within her. It's part of her wellness. It's in her. The key is in her, and it's listening. She learned how to slow down and listen to the guidance available to her. Because when you make a commitment, and you make another long-term commitment, as someone who's made 2 in my life, and a third in some respects, but you want it to be, I don't want to say, because it's cliche, I don't like this, because there's ways of saying this that people make ego, can get in their ego about it. And I don't want it to be like, you want it to be right, you want it to be the right person, you don't want to settle, like, whatever about that, right? But it's like, you want, which is true to an extent, but you want it to be something that brings you peace, that brings you wellness, something that allows you, whatever commitment, whatever you have in your life, long-term commitment, whoever you let in your heart space, you want them to reflect this wellness. You want them to, their presence in your life, you want them to allow, whatever it is, you want them to still be able to listen to your guidance. You don't want them to interfere, because a high priest, when I just say a high priest, but a man, any man you commit to, right? They can interfere with this. They can interfere with this. It's the sacral stuff I was talking about. You are intimate with a partner, and you have sex repeatedly, and you're together all the time. Like, they can start to interfere with this if they're not in alignment with you. And so don't be so desperate and fucking thirsty, right? Because we are. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm looking at Kim Kardashian's picture she posted today. This bitch, could she be any more thirsty? Like, you have everything. You know what it shows you? Like, I get it. We like attention. You look good in a wet white bikini. But like, that, if you go look at Kim Kardashian's post today, it will show you that the thirst is unending, okay? Like, attention, validation, money, all that stuff, it will never be enough. It will never be enough for you. And she's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like, I wish I looked like that in a bikini, but it will never be enough for you. I feel that she's empty. I'm not just saying that as a cliche thing. Like, it's like, you must be. If that is what you do with that type of reach in this world as a woman, and that is what you do, I'm sorry. But like, if I could reach that, it's just like, imagine reaching that many people with light. You know, it makes me sad. So I'm like crying, because it's like, can you imagine? So I'm sorry I go off, but I think that you out there listening probably feel what I'm saying. And that's the wellness again. So I get upset and I like throw the cards. That's our image of divine feminine wellness out there. Oh, she's skinny. She ain't well. I don't know. That is not wellness, boo. That is thirst. So don't be so thirsty, as I've done in my life. I've done it. I'm sure some of you watching have. You want a relationship so badly. You want a commitment so badly that you commit to someone who interferes with this. And then you're talking a decade-long curve getting back to you, right? And it's like, just wait. Just wait. Be patient. Don't lose 10 years of your life because you were afraid to be alone. There is a beautiful commitment out there coming to you. It is, and it will. Because this energy wants to be matched. Believe me, right? Believe you me. That term. Believe you me. There's a man once. He's like, I don't understand that term. I remember this guy my aunt was dating. He's like, what does that mean? Believe you me. I don't get it. I don't remember. I don't know why I'm remembering that. Believe you me. Someone wants to match that shit. I'm telling you, this is the queen right here, okay? The queen of intuition. Someone wants to commit to that, because when they do, they will benefit exponentially, greatly from it, from connecting with your energy. All righty. Oh, long-winded there. And there he is, the King of Pentacles. But he's a she. He's a she. He's a she. I forget about these decks. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have used it today because I like love readings to have men and women represented equally. But this deck, some decks are like, fuck the men, you know. I've got a couple of them that are just all women. And the Tarot of Mystical Moments. But see, that's funny. There's men in here. There are men in the Tarot of Mystical Moments, but they don't represent the kings as men. Anyway, the King of Pentacles here. In that sense, it makes me feel like, which I think has been coming out for a while, that the feminine is on the King of Pentacles' mind. I mean, she's in his energy, maybe connecting to his solar plexus in that sense. Maybe him, when he gets in touch with his own feminine energy, it empowers him, but he's feeling, I think, a bit empowered by the divine feminine out there. And that could be a specific feminine energy like this here. It could be women in his life, women he sees, but really maybe seeing, because of her, the divine feminine in people, in women, in himself. But I don't really know. I feel a little blocked out from the masculine today, to be honest. Because I think that he goes, I don't know, I just feel like he's in a mode of self-reflection in a sense, but also maybe just contemplating his relationship with the feminine. But again, today it doesn't feel specifically like a particular feminine. What it feels like is he's contemplating his relationships with feminines, with women in his past and future, present. And it's a power play, right? It's a power issue. And maybe this feminine is showing him how he uses power to, in relationships, whether is a game to one up, or it's really a protection thing. But I think at this point, what it's become is just a pattern. It's a pattern. And then sometimes when we're in patterns, especially relationship patterns, it's really hard for us to just see that we're in that we still do it. And even when we want to change outside of something, it can be hard to do that. We build little webs for ourselves that we have a hard time extricating ourselves from. Once we decide we want to, it can be challenging. So I think he's reflecting on the ways he's tries to one up in relationships, tries to control, and how really I think he may be learning, or will learn, that it prevents the flow. And I think he very much craves flow. He craves the flow. He wants to be in the flow, but he struggles to surrender to flow. He struggles to surrender to the flow because he wants to control. So he might flow for a bit, but then he stops. So it's really letting himself flow, and how that might connect to his solar plexus, if you will. What that means to each individual. And when I say things like what that means to you, I truly mean to reflect, go Google the solar plexus, go read a chapter and see what gets triggered in your mind. It doesn't mean you're going to go find the hidden key, but when you investigate, you're solar plexus, flow, and you start to think about, well, how does flow, energy flowing, connect to the solar plexus? Right away, I'm thinking that, as I talk about a lot, how the solar plexus neighbors the heart. And so we want the energy to flow through those. So if we're trying to power play and we have blockages in our solar energy where we want to control and one up and be in power, misuse of power, that's obviously going to block energy flowing into the heart, because it wants to go through the solar plexus up through the heart. And then if you're controlling and blocking at the solar plexus, it's going to stop energy from flowing down from the heart too, because the energy wants to flow down from the heart through the solar plexus in that sense. So either way, if you're stuck in a power struggle in your solar plexus, it's not flowing up through the heart and it's not flowing down from the heart. So just understanding that and how that's affected his relationships. Right away, before I even read this is a root chakra vibe here. There's a lot of red. So he's dealing with solar plexus and root. I don't mean to always do the chakras, but I think it is helpful actually for the energies, for understanding, especially in the love readings, where the energy is being centered, where the healing work is being done on the individual. My super attractor power comes from how I feel my faith in love and the joy I put out. Absolutely what's standing out to me, and the joy I put out, because joy, as we know, is connected to the solar plexus and the yellow. So if he wants to be that true King of Pentacles, right, that true King of Pentacles has to balance all these things out, and it comes up from the root. So I'm saying if you have blockages, right, if you have blockages in certain centers, it can't flow up and down. So you're not manifesting. And this says my super attractor, manifester power comes from how I feel my faith in love, which would be the heart, and the joy I put out. So I said this is red. This is very a root chakra like energy. But see, this is faith in love, heart chakra, and the joy I put out, solar plexus. In that sense, there's a flow. I attract. So he's realizing if he wants to be that King of Pentacles, his super attractor power comes from this very thing I was talking about, the solar plexus and the heart flowing. It's very important in order to be able to attract the things you're wanting to attract. I said recently, to the heart is your attractor. Like, that's how you manifest, through your heart. So if you have blockages and you are not flowing through your heart, you are not going to be able to attract those things. You have to feel your faith and love and the joy you put out. So I think just really learning how to embody that sense of joy and flow, and specifically here, realizing how certain habits or things in relationships maybe prevent that from happening. Oh, it's a reflection. It was a crumb. How certain patterns and things in relationships prevent that flow from happening and block the joy. They block the love and they block the joy. So he's trying to heal that. Oh, sensitivity. Wow. See that to the red match? That is him. There's a lot of flowers here. How beautiful. You see how this shit works, you guys? Stop. They match. Yellow flowers, red ball, red rose, yellow light. Do you see that? Come on. His sensitivity. He has increasing sensitivity. And sensitivity came out yesterday. And that was a little bit of a divine feminine reading in a sense, but it's for him too. He has increasing sensitivity. He's becoming more sensitive. But this is why he's blocked this part of himself so much. Like I said yesterday, remember I said the lady gave me a dirty look and I saw my heart open like a flower? And that's what he is doing. But he has really blocked that because of the pain it causes. Like I said, when you're a sensitive person, it tings, it hurts. It's like a ting. It's like a shock. Like, what the fuck? And if you experience that as a child, especially as a male child, you block off. You do like, no, I do not want to feel that ting. So you find ways to like control and like be in control and one up and do that because you don't want that sensitivity, that like precious, beautiful flower to be harmed. And so I'm seeing in my head that the divine masculine flower, whatever that means, his heart, it's really blue too around, which is beautiful because that's just very masculine, like blue. And this like beautiful bursting heart. It makes me feel like too, for some of you out there, you might get like a beautiful expression of love from someone, or just like more expression from him than you've gotten, where he like, someone finally like just expresses themselves in this beautiful way, because the reason someone hasn't been expressing themselves is that this stuff, these blockages, this fear of the sensitivity, this fear of being hurt, this fear of opening up again, not just to a particular person, but just opening up this sensitivity, this receptor, because it's so sensitive, because it's so sensitive. And there's this desire to protect this. But so I think specifically for some of you, maybe some expression through the throat chakra, where it's just like it's bursts out, this beautiful rose, the solar plexus light. So like the power, the personal power, the confidence behind it, and the joy it brings. And the red flower is like this primal, beautiful expression, you know, of desire, of love, of just bursting. I heard humanity, but yeah, humanity, sensitivity, magic, you know. So this just looks like a beautiful, powerful, beautiful, powerful. It's not beautiful and powerful. It's all magical and beautiful and powerful. I just laugh at myself sometimes, my Stoner Valley girl voice doing tarot all the time, saying the same shit all the time. It's mental repetition. Mental repetition with beautiful variation, I must say. Not for me, but the messages, the way they come out. So this is beautiful. He's learning how to be the true King of Pentacles. Being the true King of Pentacles means integrating his feminine energy and opening up back, letting himself open back up, his sensitivity. He needs that. It's part of his superpower. Okay, long-winded messages today for these two. My golly gosh. Oh my God, what a beautiful energy though. For the masculine, I was not expecting that beautiful bursting light of sensitivity. As also, like I just said, a mirror reflection of yesterday's sensitivity coming out. And you just cannot make it up how beautiful these images are. Cannot make it up. Oh, happiness. Oh, see, oh my gosh, happy, see, the masculine's happy. But we've been getting happiness a lot for him, because I think there's this feeling of blossoming. It's swirling. See how it's like swirling around her, and the butterflies are change. He wants to be happy. He deserves to be happy, you know? Everybody deserves to be happy. But we walk around like we don't. We walk around like these like cranky sourpuss faces, like, ugh. It's like, bitch, pretty sure you deserve to be happy. I don't know. Like, be happy. Like, you can be happy. And they say too, you know, I say a lot, the smile can be the source of your happiness. But for the masculine here, he's finding happiness. He's finding that this is the path to happiness. This is the pathway to joy. This is the pathway to happiness. Untapping his sensitivity, getting back to himself, not controlling, not trying to control and one up when it comes time to really connect and get deep with people, not trying to block it, control it. If he wants to attract, if he wants the things he wants in his life, he has to allow it. And then there's happiness on the other side. There's light, there's color, there's blossoming, there's sensitivity, there's beauty, there's magic, there's miracles, you know? All right, joint energy was coming up for these two. Hope it's not as long-winded. I'm tired. Oh, that's pretty beautiful. The Three of Pentacles. Wanting to like work together for sure. A desire, a feeling of being tied together. Whoever you think of as you watch these readings. I feel a couple, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I wish I could explain more specifically, but I think that gets boring too. So on multiple levels, but let me just try to narrow in on one frequency. There's this understanding of being tied. That's all. Of being tied together, of feeling like your stories are connected, of wanting to work together. I used to use the term contractually obligated, but I don't feel that as much because I feel like this is more of a free will choice thing. I think both people feel this here. It's a commitment to happiness, and it's like somehow, some way you are leading each other there, you know, and maybe together, maybe not, but either way, it's like really understanding the potential of a soul connection and a soul contract on a really deep and high level, in a sense, you know, that people don't understand. It's not what people expect or understand. But maybe that's part of the key for the feminine too, is really understanding the nature of soul contracts, of people in her life, understanding who stays and who goes and why, you know, who stays and who goes and why, and the levels of that, you know. People do come and go, but really honoring the relationships you've built over the last couple of years. Like I was saying, the last 2.5 years have been a big change. I would say looking back at the last 2 or 3 years, who is still in your life, who is still around, who you still feel connected to, that's really important. I also think you should honor who has come into your life in the last 2 or 3 years, because for me, my life changed completely in the last 3 years with my work. So, and your work becomes your whole family. It's a whole new community, you know, and you see the people you work with every day. For me, for 10 years, it was one set of people, and it changed here and there, but I mean, 10 years is a long time. It was one place, one set of people, and now the last 2.5 years, I realized I'm halfway through my 3rd year already. It's a whole new set of people, and a lot of people have come and gone up there, but realizing who has stayed, and while we've been through a lot, how much I value and appreciate certain souls that I've come to know up there in the last 2.5 years, how they, you know, in my last chapter, you don't know who's ahead of you. And now I have such a couple bonds with a couple people up there that I've worked with, my boss and stuff, that, sorry, I lost my train of thought thinking about the people, because it's not just my boss, it's other people too. But just realizing, so there's been a lot of highs and lows for me with certain souls that I have come into my life in the last couple of years, but then you realize like your family, you realize now like, wow, we have been through a lot and we are still here and we still love each other right now, you know, and we work together, we can work together, we're in this together. I'm someone who feels alone a lot in life, so sometimes realizing who you do have around you, who is in your life, who does care about you, who is still on your mind, who still thinks of you, you just realize that does matter, because a lot of people and a lot of things fall away. So I'm losing my trains of thought here, but it's just that I think realizing the ties that bind right now, and maybe understanding who's important in your life. I think that this realization was not available to you a year ago. I think that a lot of things have happened over the last 12 months that now allow you to have this realization and respect for people in your life and what has stayed and what has gone. And maybe that speaks to my message yesterday of letting things go, but it's also recognizing what is still there, which is also beautiful. When I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. Absolutely. See, that's really beautiful. I feel like that connects kind of to what I was saying just now, is really being grateful for where you've come at this point, you know, and what you have built up to this point, and being grateful for it, the connections that are there. And when you are grateful for what you have, that's really what it's about, right? It's like some people think, well, I have to be grateful in order to get what I want. Are you like, I have to be grateful? It's like, no, you don't have to be, but it's like, it makes it easier. That's the key too. I feel like part of the key is patience, wellness, and gratitude. Patience, wellness, and gratitude is not for anybody. It's not to serve a higher power. It's not to get a good grade. It's just to help you feel better. It's just to like, oh, so if I'm grateful, then it's like, no, if you're grateful, you can feel good. You can feel good along the way to what you desire, you know, and that's a blessing in a sense. So I will just repeat that one more time because it's good medicine. When I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. So in terms of this love connection too, because I did get lost there, I think being really grateful for each other and grateful for the tie that binds for whatever reason, grateful that you know the other is there in a sense. I would kind of say no matter what, you know, in some respects. Like sometimes you realize some things are just, just say not going away, but I don't want to say that because then we immediately get attached, right? Like everything does potentially have an ending, but really being grateful for the fact that some connections don't go away, that they don't go away, that they stay, and that there's a reason for that too. And we may not understand it. We may not understand the reason, but there's something that ties you together, some type of magical connection. And if it's frustrating, if you don't understand why, that's fine, but just be grateful for it as it is, because you're on your way to what you desire, whether with this person or with someone else, you know, but the gratitude will get you there, and the gratitude will just make it easier. I think the thing is, like, part of the key in the lesson here is learning that the gratitude and the gratitude and feeling good, the wellness, taking care of self, is just what helps with the patience. It's not that you get used to being patient. It's just that once you get distracted and feel good and have fun, it's like, then it's all like it happens. But when you're in this negative, low vibrational energy, it just is like dragging. Like I said, it's just like dragging. It's like the snail. And the chariot is connected to Cancer, which is emotions, right? The Cancer is ruled by the moon. So that moon energy, those emotions will just drag you down into the muck, you know, and you just feel so slow. And then sometimes if you just sort of turn the switch, which again is part of the key, I feel like, is you sort of switch your perspective. You feel good, you feel happy, you distract yourself, you get lost in life, in gratitude, and then things just happen. Then it just happens. You're like, oh shit, it just happened. Oh, create space. I love it. Create space is a really powerful card. Create space for happiness, because this is like matching this too, kind of. We're creating space. The journey of creating space is a long one, okay? When I used to pull this card, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll create space. It'll be like next year. Next week. No. Creating space can be a long journey, and it is a beautiful one, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to create space for the things that we love, continue to create space for better for ourselves, just like create space to create space, you know, like if there's mire, if there's muck, if there's yuck, get rid of it. Create space. Only good can come from you creating space at this point, creating space in your life for things that are meant to come in it. Clear the room, create space for what's meant to come to you. And with that too, like I said earlier, you want to be in a good energy when what comes to you is about to come to you. When what's about to come to you comes to you, you want to be peaceful, you want to be patient, you want to be in a good energy. A new some type of new part of you, new contractual obligation. Like I was talking about the people that came in my life for the last 2 years. Maybe another round of souls, another person, new people, new things coming into your life, new relationships. And you want to create space for that. You want to have space for that as it comes in. So I feel like space has been created, but I feel this perpetual like need and desire to create space for yourself, create space, clear space, create space. It's kind of a mantra a little bit, but I feel like both here too, long term, if you will, there's this constant energy here in terms of divine love connections of creating space for each other, of clearing out the heart space so that you can get back to each other. And then maybe the truth is that when you really get back to yourself, you finally get back to each other. So creating space to get back to each other. 3 + 8 is 11. That's a union energy, you know? Okay, so final card for this beautiful reading today. Oh, wow. How beautiful. Healing. Creating space to get back to each other. This healing journey is about getting back to you and getting back to your beloved, right? Your true love, if we believe it's real, which I think we do. But there may be beautiful relationships along the way too, you know? But what we are grateful for is the ties that bind and understanding the people in this world that truly see us, the people in this world that truly see us, the people in this world that truly love us. And it's allowing us to heal. And you are healing, I feel like, because you've come to a point where you are no longer living the life you once lived. You're no longer attracting the things you once attracted. You have attracted new. There is new. You've created space in your life. You've created space in your life for healing, you know, created space in your life for a new commitment, for happiness, you know. So, and remember too that creating space, one thing I've realized is that really, I used to think maybe it was about like a space here, and it is, sure, but it's really about creating space in your heart. So it doesn't matter where you are or what you have, or it just matters about your heart. Create space in your heart for the ones you love, because you'll regret it if you don't, you know. And it's easy to say that, you know, as a feminine, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've got plenty of space in my heart for him or whoever, right? It's like, do you? I don't know if you do. Maybe you need to create more space. Create space in your heart. Create space in your heart for healing. Create space in your heart for gratitude. That is all for today. It was a really beautiful reading. I hope you guys felt it too. Sending you lots of love wherever you find yourself on your journey on this beautiful Wednesday. I am with you. Sending you lots of love. I'll post tomorrow.